Are these all beauty and gender stereotypes? Yeah, probably. Hello, fellow drawers. My name is Valerie. I am a self-taught digital artist. How's it going? Good? Good. Let me ask you something. If I were to crop out all of your recent characters' faces, put them in grayscale and show them to you, would you be able to tell them apart? If your answer is no, then let's try solving this issue together so that next time I ask you this question, your answer will be yes and yes sir. So first, in case you don't know what same face syndrome is, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a serious disease that occurs among artists and makes them draw the same face every time they have to draw a face, which leads to all of their characters looking like the same person. This often happens when people start focusing on and chasing after their unique art style too much. They put so much emphasis on finding their own style and drawing everything in their own signature aesthetic that they often get trapped within these stylistic frames and get so afraid to take any step out of their comfort zone that all of their drawings start looking all the same. Firstly, just a friendly reminder, your signature style will develop naturally over time. A style is not about the look of the drawing, it's about the process underneath that led to this result, the technique that the artist developed, and skills and drawing habits that they obtained during their long art journey. It's something that cannot be forced, and if it is being forced, you will end up with same face syndrome, art block, depression, hemorrhoids, all the bad stuff we artists get sent upon us. I would say I don't have same face syndrome. I rather have the opposite issue where I cannot draw the same face twice. So when I'm drawing the same character multiple times, their face looks completely different every single time. Animation, I could never. Because my drawing process is very impulsive, just like me. My sketches always look very messy because I just let my hand scribble and whatever happens, happens. I don't have a strict formula for drawing anything really. And in my opinion, watching the how to draw an eye, a nose, a mouth, etc. tutorials can actually sometimes be harmful to young artists and contributing to their same face syndrome. Because there is no one way or ultimate technique to draw these things. I remember when I was a kid, I would always see those step-by-step drawing tutorials in like children's magazines or coloring books. You know, the ones where it's like how to draw a cat. First step, draw a circle. Now add this line here and this line there. And here you have a cat. First of all, those never worked, at least for me. It always came out horribly every time. Even as a kid, I hated those because they were so incredibly stupid and pointless. And obviously, you cannot learn how to draw anything this way. I mean, if you do it enough times, you might learn how to draw a cat. Oh, pardon. The cat. You know, this one specific cat in this specific pose, in this specific style. Yeah, you'll probably know how to draw that. Sit still, you little fool. And just like there is no one way to draw a cat, there is no one way to draw a face. The way you draw facial features will vary a lot from character to character. And we have so many facial features you can tweak and play with. Brows, eyes, nose, mouth, the general face shape. Neck and ears can also contribute to your character's recognizability if you give your character like elf ears or super big ears or multiple ears or bunny ears, or if you make the neck like super thick or super thin, that can also make your character more recognizable. But I will not consider ears and neck as a part of the face. You can observe your favorite animes or cartoons to see that while the overall style is consistent in every character, each of them still looks unique and different. Even CalArt's characters manage to look different despite having such a simple 2D cartoony style. And there's also Adventure Time. They just embraced their same face syndrome and rolled with it. And the show is awesome. So maybe in some cases, same face syndrome is the way to go. But for most people, that's a problem because it feels restraining, it feels limiting when you're only able to draw one type of face. But the way we draw facial parts is not random at all. It depends on plenty of aspects such as gender, race, age, expression, character's personality. So let's talk about these patterns in character design and how they affect the facial features of your characters. When it comes to personality, let's take the two polar opposites, the bad ones and the good ones. The two opposite sides of a huge spectrum, from the truly evil, bad, cruel demons to the super kind, white and fluffy, the nicest, cutest thing you've ever seen. Evil, bad characters usually tend to have a more sharp, edgy shapes and lines in their design because those shapes look dangerous, look uninviting. You don't want to get close to them because they can hurt you. And the kind protagonists artists usually tend to have a more fluid, round, smooth shape language because that looks safe, that looks comforting and cute. For bad characters, their brows can be set closer to each other or be super narrow, which can add to the edgy aspect, whereas kind protagonist eyebrows would be set further apart and be set higher to make for a very open eye look. As for the eyes themselves, evil characters will often have these narrow, sly fox eyes that seem like they're squinting or being suspicious or have something to hide. Whereas super nice, cute fellas will have those big, round eyes sparkling with joy, love, hopes, and dreams. Now let's talk gender. By gender, I mean the spectrum going from the super masculine characters to the super feminine characters. It doesn't matter who they are, it may not even be a person, it may be a dog, and these will still apply to their design, depending on how feminine or masculine you want them to look. In general, masculinity in characters is usually emphasized by adding bigger, stronger, bulkier shapes. They tend to have edges, but they are not as sharp as an evil character's. So if an evil character's shape language is like a triangle, then the masculine characters is more of a rectangle. The kind characters are a circle, and the feminine characters I would say is like an oval or a heart shape. More of a heart shape, I would say. So for masculine characters features, closer set, straight, not arched, eyebrows, you can make them thick as well, longer rectangular eyes, pronounced sharp nose, maybe even with a bump, sharp, more angular jawline, and overall more rectangular, boxier face shape. Oh, and thick neck if the character is supposed to be like super strong. Now, feminine characters will have more fluid, softer shapes in their design. Those are wider set, narrower, and more arched eyebrows. Eyes are either bigger, rounder eyes, or the opposite where it's like a little fox eye if the character is a little, a smaller, softer nose, rounder jawline, and smaller chin. Lips will be fuller and generally a more rounder or heart-shaped face. Oh, and a thinner neck. Are these all beauty and gender stereotypes? Yeah, probably. But that's the funny thing, is that it is used to design cartoon characters that are supposed to be super exaggerated in order to be readable, which makes the fact that we apply these same standards to real people even more ridiculous. So of course, you will not have characters that are entirely bad or entirely good or entirely like super masculine or super feminine. Most characters have mixed features, and you can mix up those features based on where on these spectrums your character is. Combine like bushy eyebrows and fuller lips and a smaller nose but a sharper jawline. Play around with it, there is a lot of room for experiments. Okay, now let's talk expressions, shall we? You might have the exact same way of drawing all your facial features, and maybe you even like it and call it your style. But even having the same face on every character, you can still make your drawing look way more interesting by adding expressions. Expressions is like a visual representation of your character's personality. Make them smile, make them frown, make them angry or super sus and sexy. Whatever expression you choose, that will automatically make your character look way more alive instead of looking like a mannequin. Now, some people say to practice this using more realistic references of human expressions. I don't know, but I personally found it easier and more effective to start practicing expressions using the opposite, which is the most simplified, cartoonish, stylized references you can find, because those are the most expressive, bold, clear examples you can get. They might not even have a nose, like super cartoony style. And when you master drawing those, you probably won't have troubles toning it down to the expression and realism level that you need. You should learn how the facial features affect each other when a character is making an expression. The eyes, the eyebrows, and the mouth usually work together. Yeah, you can show excitement by just opening up the character's eyes, but that will look super stiff and unnatural. So how about you also raise their eyebrows and give them a little smile? That will look way more alive and natural. I would say that being able to draw characters of different races and ages is the most advanced skill you can master, because there are so many aspects and so many nuances that you have to take into consideration in order to draw the character right. That requires way more advanced art skills than the aspects we just talked about. I'm personally also struggling with this. I'm trying to get better. I think for me, age is the most tricky one. I struggle with drawing like chibi child characters. That's really hard for me. And I drew an elderly character once and have never drawn an elderly character again. I don't know why. I really love the way he turned out. So I want to try to push myself out of this comfort zone, comfort age zone, if you will, in my future drawings. Now, I'm not going to talk race here because that's such a complex, big, and nuanced topic that I have not completely figured out and mastered yet. So I don't think I will be able to point out all the techniques and ways to actually portray characters of different nationalities. But let's touch on age a bit. So again, we're taking this range from baby to old to see how our facial features change throughout our life. So I've heard that our nose grows our entire life. Actually, that's not true. It doesn't grow our entire life, but our nose and our ears do look bigger because gravity pulls our skin down and our skin tissue gets loose and our face starts getting puffier. So elderly people look like they have a bigger nose than they used to have when they were younger. But actually, our nose stops growing at like 18 or 20. Now, for the eyes, they have the opposite progression where they start looking smaller with age. Because our eyeballs don't grow almost at all throughout our life, they grow very, very little and very slowly. But because babies' heads are much smaller than adult heads, their eyes look much bigger on their face, despite technically being almost the same size as adult eyes. So the bigger your character's eyes are, the younger they will look. That's why chibi characters have eyes that take like 80% of their head, because they're baby characters. Now the mouth, if you've ever seen a baby in your life, you know that their mouths are tiny, and they look even tinier by being stuck between two humongous puffy cheeks that they have. All babies have very cute big cheeks, they're like little hamsters. But as we get older, those cheeks disappear and we get our sharp cheekbones. Look at that. And because we don't have those cheeks anymore, our mouths have the room to grow. That's the exact reason why our mouths grow. Also, babies have huge foreheads and massive heads. So, what should I prescribe you for curing your horrible disease? Take your time to explore different shapes and ways of drawing facial features. Take a piece of paper and try drawing like 5 different pairs of eyes of different shapes. Round eyes, square eyes, almond eyes, fox eyes, dog eyes. Then try drawing sad eyes, happy eyes, angry eyes. Try expressing those emotions using only the eyes and the eyebrows. Then try adding the mouth to fit the expression. Also try drawing different nose shapes. There are actually a lot and they can really make your character stand out. Button nose, straight nose, bumpy nose, flat nose, pointy nose. I actually do have a bump on my nose. Here. I like it. Remember that there is no one way of drawing the face that you have to stick to. This is not maths. You don't have to follow the one formula that you saw in some tutorial. The only thing you have to keep in mind is the general facial proportions. First, always mark the vertical middle line of your face. Then you mark the brow line. Then, halfway between the brow line and the chin line is the line of the bottom of the nose. The bottom, not the tip, the bottom of the nose. And then halfway between the line of the bottom of the nose and the chin line is the mouth line. It's simple, and eyes are somewhere. They will start lower or higher depending on how big they are. As long as you follow these proportions, it doesn't matter how big or small or what shape you make your facial features, it will look right. Just take into consideration the characteristics of the character you're drawing. Even if that's not a fan art or not an OC, even if you're just drawing a random portrait, make up a personality. Not even the personality, just like the vibe of this character. Is it cool? Is it kind of edgy? Is it kind? Is it sad? What vibe do you want this character to have? Evilness, edginess is a triangle, the cuteness and kindness is a circle, the masculinity is the rectangle, femininity is a heart shape or an oval. Oh, and also the wiggly, wavy lines or spirals is usually used to indicate like weirdness, characters that are crazy, characters that are wacky and weird and quirky. Just make a sheet of all the different brow shapes, eye shapes, nose shapes, mouth shapes, face shapes, craziest shapes you can come up with. See what you're capable of. Even if you diversify your character's facial features, they will not stop looking like your style. They will just look like different characters. They will still look like your style because you drew them. Your style is the technique that you use, the line weight, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, the medium that you use, the brush that you use, the color choices that you make, the rendering choices that you make. This is all your style. So if you enjoyed this video, press like, subscribe. You can check out my art on Instagram or here on YouTube Shorts. And bye bye. I'm gonna go watch One Piece and eat my frozen grapes. So you can take the world back from the heart attack. One maniac at a time, we will take it back.
Hey, young blood, doesn't it feel like our time is running out? I'm gonna change you like a remix, then erase you like a